Hey, this is Cancer's complicated traits or complications. Cancer complications. So I'm going to point it out to you because I'm a Cancer and I looked it up. Alright, first we'll start with positive traits, or just traits, the general um, overview of Cancer. Cancer star sign, the fourth sign of the zodiac, is all about home. These people love their home and family more than anything else in this world. Cancerians are blessed with strong intuitive and psychic powers that help them judge people well. These people tend to be hard on the outside and soft inside, but they also have a tougher side to their personality. Cancers are known for their loyalty, emotional depth, and their parenting instincts. They are intuitive and imaginative, shrewd and cautious, protective and sympathetic. On the flip side, you are changeable and moody, overly emotional and touchy, clinging and unable to let go. So the first positive trait is creative. We are creative. Cancer individuals are blessed with expensive and wild imaginations that can turn a word into a story in a matter of minutes. It's therefore unsurprising that you are often hailed as creative geniuses. You feel extremely happy to share your feelings of love for someone or something artistically through poems and writings. You tend to have a strong creative force. You keep yourself involved in art to some extent. You take great pleasure in expressing yourself in a creative and artistic way. I don't know if you can see that, so I'm going to zoom in for you. Alright, so the negative traits that cancers have that kind of like counters this creative or puts your creativity off or gets you out of that creative mood is, oops, Moody. Cancer individuals are also known to have a moody attitude, especially whenever they are jealous. You are normally protective and courageous. You can be very brooding and moody if you feel that your emotional needs are not being met. You switch moods rapidly. You will be laughing and joking at a moment and shedding your tears after a few minutes. This is part of your everyday life, which rides like waves. So, the issue between these two is if we're being creative, we're not being moody. If we're being moody, we're not being creative. Are you feeding the negative aspects of yourself, or are you feeding the positive aspects of yourself? All right, so next we have number 2. Try that again. Is emotive. You like loyalty, your emotional depth, and your parenting instincts. You are emotional and intense. You are also extremely intuitive and compassionate. You care deeply about matters of the family and their home. You are sympathetic and get deeply attached to your close ones. You can empathize with the pains and sufferings of other people. And the negative, counter this, is resentful. You become resentful and petulant often. Whenever you feel that you have been diverted, you are likely to build up resentment gradually until it explodes completely. The biggest problem is anything can make you resentful. You have great fertile imaginations, but you use these talents destructively at times, It is very difficult to please you. You snap the situation out and come back to normal in time. So, these are closely related. These can combine. You can go from moody to resentful. So if you're all being moody, you will become resentful. If you're being all creative, you can become emotive. Right? The order I put these in is the order that you will fall or you will grow. So next we have, for positive, number 3 is faithful. Cancer is the most concerned with a secure and faithful relationship. You love home and family and are not happy unless you have deep emotional ties. You're usually very nurturing and tend to take good care of everyone you care about. You're very loyal to your partners and can even die for them. You have a blind spot for the one you deeply love and will overlook almost everything. So to counter that, the negative, we have number 3, unpredictable. You have intense mood swings as well as sensitivity. It doesn't take much for you to go from friendly and outgoing to totally introverted as a way of protecting yourselves. And it can prove quite confusing and unpredictable to the people in your lives. So they'll think there's something, or they'll think that you're just a dick, or whatever. But see, and here it goes. Look, you go from moody to resentful to unpredictable. You can go up the ladder, creative, emotive, and then faithful. Let's move on. Number 4, positive, loving, and charming. Loving and charming. You are very loving and caring. As the most sensitive sign of the zodiac, Cancer does everything with love in mind and in the heart. Because of this, you are the most tender lovers. You are wonderful and magical partners when your mood is up. They are funny, passionate, insightful, adventurous, and indulgent, and very well know how to have a good time. And to counter that, we have number 4, just plain old being negative. Negative. Or negativity, if you want to go that way. You are ruled by the moon, which is ever changing, and thus you can have moods that can grow dark and darker. It's common for you to struggle with low self-esteem and hold a lifelong grudge against someone. You are someone who sees the glass as half empty rather than half full. The wound of hurt and damage of feelings never get healed. So we're almost done here. So you see how this works. You go from 1 to 4, either up or down. Just like your sign here, 69, you can spiral down or you can spiral up. Okay? That's why you have that sign, the 69. It's usually sideways, but I did it this way so you can see. Now, another thing about this symbol here is, let's pretend, either way you look at it, one of these is your soul and the other one is your body or your physical presence. So let's say blue is your soul. And let's say the other one is your body. Okay? Now, if they're in harmony, this one will spiral this way, and your soul will spiral this way, but they work together like Merkaba. Okay, if you look up how Merkaba spins, one triangle will spin one way and the other triangle will spin the other way. So in essence, if a Cancer is in tune with his mastering his self, he will be in tune with the Merkaba and how that works, and he'll be a great inspiration, great healer, great spiritual leader, or she as well. But the point is that sometimes the soul, especially in the world we live in now today with all the negative energies and whatnot bombarding us on every second of the day, the body and the soul will collide. Okay? And what happens when two things are spinning and they collide? There's something that does that. Okay? And it's called the Hadron Collider. They'll have two things spinning in different directions and build up to the speed of light and then collide them. What happens? You'd be freaking explode, opening dimensions and other things that bring in things that could potentially do a lot of harm. So that's what Cancers are potentially either very dangerous or very helpful. So if you know a Cancer and you want to show them something about themselves and they need to learn how to master themselves, this is a good place to start. Not only that, but they are going to need your help because they are a home person. They need a good home. They need a good, close relationships to build from. They are the sum of the friends or the people they keep around them. So if you're like, hey, Cancer, chill, you need to check this out, but you're over here being negative, you're being a hypocrite, it's going to blow up in your face. It's not going to work. Let's move on. Number 5. You can be intuitive. Right? So, intuitive. You possess a supernatural sense of intuition. You know very well what is in the mind of others and you know what they did. It is very difficult to hoodwink and manipulate you. Your instinctive ability to sniff out the secrets makes you oversensitive. You will keep on asking questions until you get out the secrets, but this can make you feel very heavy and drained. And the opposite of that, number 5 over here, is suspicious. So you don't trust. Suspicious. The empathetic crab is inclined to protect themselves. You only trust when you feel safe within relationships. You're often resorting to your inner world when you do not feel trusted or safe. Once again, here's the spiral, either way, into the situation. Now, let's say you're being intuitive, and you didn't build up to intuitive. You weren't being creative, emotive, faithful, loving, and charming. Let's just say you started as intuitive and suspicious. You can spiral back up the numbers. So like you're spiraling up, and you start up here, you can spiral down, and then you're over here. Same with up here. You can be suspicious, and then negative, unpredictable, resentful, moody, and then you're like, this is the thing about Cancers. Some people think we're bipolar or whatever, but what we're doing is we're going through what we are. All signs have something similar to this. I'm just starting with Cancer. Next month I'll do Leo. So next we have Tenderhearted. You find difficulty in communicating your real feelings. You shut down your emotional responses when you are hurt. You seem to be emotionally immature at times, but you have uniquely receptive nature. You will be overly involved and attached to those who are highly sensitive to their emotions. You are highly empathetic as you understand the emotional state and feelings of the other people. You feel others' feelings as your own. So they're natural impasse. That's why they make some good healers or in the medical field. What's the opposite? Number 6. Clingy. Don't want to let go. Cancer individuals are sometimes over-imaginative, which can get them in trouble. You will cling and obsess over the situation until you have all the answers. You can't turn off the feelings once it is ignited. So, to conclude, what will happen if you're in the negative and you get to clingy? You will just spiral in negativity. You never will get over here. So sometimes we find ourselves for hours or days doing this stuff. So we're going to be moody, resentful, unpredictable, negative, suspicious, clingy, coming back, clinging on to the negativity and doing moody, resentful, unpredictable, negative, suspicious, clinging all over again. We just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. So if you're a negative Cancer, this is mostly what you're doing all the time. If you're only positive and you're doing this over and over again, okay? Unless you live in like on an island with nobody else and everybody's like positive just as much as you, you're gonna find yourself spiraling out of control over here into the negative. You gotta have a good balance between the two. Well, how do you do that? Well, when you find yourself going through this and you're doing this, and you think you're just gonna ignore the things that may cause you to be a negative person, so like you're being bombarded by negative aspects of other people or negative stress or just stress in general, things that come up, and you don't go through whatever it triggers inside of you, don't spiral into all of this. Just feel it for a moment, and what's the opposite of it? So you have to feel it and then do the opposite of it. So if you feel like something stressful is coming on and you become unpredictable, think of something that is aligning with your faithful side of yourself. So like no more than 5 minutes of doing this is what I would generally want to do. So it's okay to be a little resentful, right? But then be more emotive and then start being creative. And then back to emotive and faithful and loving and charming and intuitive and tenderhearted. Another thing is you don't always have to be spiraling in negative or positivity. What you can do is meditate or get some rest, relaxation, and have neither going on, where you become the Merkaba. Okay? And this is what it would look like for Cancer. Being the center of the storm and your awareness of being in the center of the storm. Don't be negative in the storm. I just did red, blue because it's showing all the different spirals. And another thing is don't be the target, right? Okay? Because in the center of the storm, what happens when you're really in the center of the storm and you're aware of everything? It all goes away. Okay? And you're just a dot. Like they've done brain scans on monks who are in deep meditation, and there's just a dot in the center of the brain. So there you go. That's your video, Cancer.